So welcome back to Critically Clueless. I'm Marty, and we are having a look at Manifold Garden, one of the most bizarre puzzle games I've ever seen. This was sent to us by William Cheer Studios, and I've got to give a big shout out and a thank you to them. And we really do appreciate any keys that are actually sent to us. And this has been a really enjoyable game, and I've really loved playing it. And I hope you enjoy more of the video as we go into it and get into how the game is and what it's about. But it is a first person puzzle game, and it is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen on a game, without a shadow of a doubt. Rediscover gravity and explore an askew world of impossible architecture, right? It's just bizarre the whole way everything is. Witness infinity in first person and master its rules to solve physics defining puzzles. Cultivate a garden to open new paths forward where an external expanse awaits. Right, so the game is obviously, it's an indie first person puzzle game. It's been developed by an American artist called William Cheer. Again, I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced that right, but it's the best I can do. It was released on Windows, Mac and iOS on October 18th, 2019. Now the player must navigate an abstract series of structures that appear to repeat into infinity, solving, while solving a progression of puzzles. And that's exactly what you've got to do for this whole thing. Now the initial date was released on 2019. Again, the developer is William Cheer Studio, the designer was William Cheer, the publishers was William Cheer Studio as well. At the moment, on the platforms that it stands on is Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, got the Xbox One, iOS, so your phone, Microsoft Windows, Linux, Xbox Series X, and the Series S. So the prices for this game on the Nintendo Switch is about £16.19. On Steam, you can currently get it for £11.99. That's because it's on a 25% discount, but normally it would be £15.99 as well. On the PlayStation, it is currently set at £14.99, and then on the Xbox, we're currently sitting at £16.74. So what can I say about this game? I mean, at the moment, as it stands, I've put about 7.2 hours into it. I'm currently into. Now the game apparently only takes 6 hours to complete, but as it's being a puzzle game, you're obviously going to get stuck. Now I got stuck a lot because I was overcomplicating the actual tasks that I needed to do. This is one thing that it is quite simplified, but at the same time it's really not. It kind of warps your mind a little bit. You end up walking into it and just going, what is this? Where the heck am I? How does this work? There's no hints or tips or anything like that going through this game. There's no direction that you're sort of guided through to go. You've literally got to find out the way to get to the next area, and you've got to figure out the puzzle on your own. It's literally every single one is completely different to the other one, and you have to do it in a different way from the last one. And yeah, everything about this game is so confusing. I mean, gravity doesn't really exist, but it does. So obviously you can jump off the sides and just completely carry on falling into abyss forever. But then you can alter yourself and go to the next sort of wall, but then that'll be the floor. But then, yeah, it's just very confusing. Nothing about it seems to make sense, to be fair. But so far this got a very positive view on the game, and to be fair, I can see why. There's no sort of storyline in it as far as I can tell. I think the main idea of the game, or what you've got to do, is basically restore the Manifold Garden to its original look. Now, I haven't actually completed it yet, so I don't know if that's something that I'm correct on or not. But it seems that it's going that way, because the whole idea of it is you've got to get cubes and put them in the right places to open up the next doors. Yeah, they're either color coded, or later on you get these ones that are like, I wouldn't even say they're multicolored. It's like distorted color when you're looking through it. it's kind of weird, but that's sort of, once you've got that brick and you've placed it where it needs to go, it then opens up the next part of the world, and it forms in front of your eyes and shows you where sort of you can sort of lead off from next point, you know. And it's definitely a bizarre looking game. It's not something I think that a person without a level-headed mind should actually play this, because, you know, my mind at the moment is quite level-headed, and I walked away from this game like scratching my head and really feeling quite weirded out by the whole situation and by the whole game, to be totally honest. But yeah, but I still have thoroughly enjoyed the game. So obviously at the beginning when you start the game, the tasks and the puzzles are quite relatively easy, but obviously as you progress, they get more and more challenging, they get harder and harder. I mean, I think I got stuck for, I don't even know how long the time was, because to be totally honest, when you're playing this game, time doesn't seem to sort of make sense even around what's going on, you know, what's going on in your own real life. Because the first time I played and recorded it, I thought, oh, that's I've probably done about an hour's worth. I checked, it was 15 minutes, and I was just like, wow, you do lose all track of time in this game. It's dead weird the way it does it. But yeah, as the puzzles progress and actually get harder, when you get to a certain point, you've got to start making the water flow to a certain place to then plant a tree, basically, that's going to grow more blocks that you can use to then progress further into the game. It's that point where I made it very overcomplicated for myself and ended up spending an hour trying to do something which in the end I was completely doing wrong. But the only advice I can say is, if you're going to play this game, to really not look at everything too hard and just try and think of it in a simple way, because I think that's the idea of it for sure. It's not trying to be dead difficult, the puzzles, but I think that it's just been created and designed in a way that's obviously it's going to throw you and confuse you quite easily. So yeah, I mean, the graphics on this game and stuff, and the way it's been designed and created, I mean, from what it reminded me of a little bit was Inception, was specifically of a certain part when the world sort of like goes over on itself, and then yeah, it just doesn't make any sense the way it's sort of looking and stuff like that. I mean, this is kind of that. I mean, I don't know what more to expect from this game, to be totally honest, as I progress further into it. It is something that I am definitely going to go back to as well, because I want to complete it. It is good. Like, you know, there's no dialogue, there's no real story. As I said, I think it's just putting the garden back to its original stature and the way it should be. So now we come to the scoring of the game. Now, as always, we score games from what they are and not what we want them to be. And yeah, I mean, this got a solid 6.5 out of 10, which is really good, to be totally honest. It is definitely something that I would say for someone who likes puzzle games, give it a go. Pick it up, have a look at it, see if you like it. It's going to confuse you, that's all I can say. And you probably will get frustrated at it as well. But still, nonetheless, it was still and is an enjoyable game. As always, if you can, hit that like, notification and subscribe button as well, and don't forget to leave a comment as well. Let me know what you thought of the video, and as always, we've been the Critically Clueless. I've been Marty. Catch you again soon.